Hello friends, in this video we will discuss about nullable types in C#. Nullable types first introduced in C# 2.0. Before we go for nullable types, we will discuss the types in C#. In C#, types are divided into two major categories. First is value type, another is a reference type. What is a value type? A data type is a value type if it holds a data value within its own memory space. It means a variable of these data types are directly contains a value is the value type. For example, int, bool, byte, char, float, these are the value types. What are the reference type? And what is the reference type? A reference type does not store its value directly. A type does not store its value directly. Then instead of it store the address where the value is being stored. In other words, if we say a reference type contains a pointer to a memory location that holds the data. And what are the reference type? String, array, class, delegates are the reference type. Let's see about the nullable types. So if we say int of count is 0, so it's a value type and we directly take a value type here and we'll run the program. And what is the output? 0 will be the output as usual. Test. So 0 is the output. So this is a value type. If we want a nullable type, just write here nullable of int. So now it's a nullable of int. So here it's a just a nullable of int. So writing the whole word nullable, we can directly write like this. We'll just remove this nullable. For purpose, just write it here and just take int I is equal to 0, and if we put here as quotient. So this both are same, nothing difference. So this is a null. Like this we can write a nullable type. So let's see now it can hold a null value. So if we take right here null, so you can check here, it can store a null value. For a value type, if we say int I is equals to null, now you can see here some error occurred, cannot convert null to int because it's a nullable value type. So it can't store a null into a I of value type. If we write here question mark, now we can see the error gone. So we can directly store a null value into the our variable. So this is like this, we can assign a null to a variable, variable, uh, value type. So if we see here, if we take intelligence, see here some properties are there. As value, its return type is bool. If you take value, its return type is int. Why int? Because we have taken this here int. So because of this int, if we take here suppose bool, and if we check the return type of value, so we can see here bool, return type of bool. So based on this, it will get changed. So we are taking int. These two as value, value, and get value or default. These three are the important. These two is important properties, and this is the function we are going to see discuss. So if I directly dot value, if I directly write and if we run, so what will happen? It will give the runtime error because we can't pass or print the directly null value. See, system invalid operation exception. Nullable object must have a value. It must should have a value. So for syntax, it won't give any error, but in runtime, it will throw an exception. So how to handle it? So we there are different ways you can check the value is having null or the value has a value, the variable has a value. So first we will check if just now we have checked one property count dot has value. So this property if we check gets its return type is bool. If the value is present then it will return true. If value is not present means it's a null, then it will return a false. So if you directly put as value and else, we'll just copy this and paste here. So if we paste here, null, and if we run this program, so the output will be null. Null. Why? Because here we have given a null to this count. Now we'll provide some integer value like 100, and if you run the program the output will be 100 because the hash value will return the true and this statement is executed. So it return a 100. So like this we can check this value is contained as a value or it's a null. So like this we can check. And one more thing, if I remove this all this thing, if else if I remove and if I directly write count dot is value or default. What is this? It retrieves the value of current nullable of t, means nullable of int object or the default value of underlying type. So if we directly call this function, so if it is having if nullable of count, if it is having a value, it will return a value. If I pass here null, it will return default value. Means for int default value is 0. Whatever pre-configured value is there, it will return that. Let's run the program and we will check this output. So here is the output and 100 is there because already 100 is assigned to this counter. If I pass null to this variable, if I run, then output will be the 0 because we are passed and it will take the default value of this int. If I run the program, we'll see the output and the output is 0 like this. So like this we can handle that runtime exception from here. One more thing, null coalescing operator is there. What is null coalescing operator? Suppose we are writing count. Null coalescing operator means double question mark and we will write some default value. Suppose we have to give default value as 500. So null coalescing operator is double question mark and nullable if we want nullable type if we declare it's a single question mark like int of question count is equal to null like this and we will comment this line. Nullable type we will declare with one question mark and null coalescing operator will use as a double question mark. Now just run the program and you will get the 500 as the output. 500. So because the count is null, it will return this 500. If this is not null, if this is 10, it will just return the 10 output. 10. So we have seen how to declare a nullable variable and how to handle that runtime error dot value dot runtime error we have seen how to handle. So one we can handle like this and another way is there for handling. So we can directly check if count is null. So like this we can check if it's null. If it's null, it will go inside or else and write a console dot write line of if it's null means we can directly pass something null and if it's not null means we can pass count dot value like this. And if you run this program, what will be the output? 10 will be the output. 10 is the output because already we passed the value to this variable. If we pass null, it will return null. See, it is written null. So all these are handling this runtime exception. We can check null. This many types we can check the our null variable. And the last one is, suppose if you remove all this in C Sharp 8.0, uh, .NET provide one thing. If you see count is object. What is this? This is this is an object like in C Sharp 8.0. C Sharp has introduced for checking that count is not null. This is for checking is not null. Before we have seen is null, correct? Now for checking is, except of writing here not null, this will give error. See, because C Sharp 8.0 is not having like this not null. So if we pass this one, this means count is not null. Count is not null. If count is not null, means it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. Let's see. Else console dot write line. If not null means it will return value or it will return null. So if we check this one, we'll see here now count is having a null. It should go to else part. We'll run the program and we can see here null. So this is for understanding. It is not correct because we don't know here. This will make misunderstanding. So most of the developer won't use like this. So later C Sharp 9.0 introduce is not null this thing. So we have seen this double quotes. And if you pass any value variable here, sorry, any value to this count variable, it will just return that counter. So you see here 500. Correct. So in this video, what we have seen, we have summary. In this video, we have seen label of int, this thing, and the same we can write in short. We can write this one is like this, and the properties or function we have seen these properties and function this much. We have seen. So this is the count here in the place of here. This is count. So count dot value we have seen. So runtime error. It will give runtime error if it is having null. So for handling that null, we have seen four ways how we can handle that runtime error for this nullable. So that is for this video. We will see with new features in next video.